Hello, everyone. We're going to go over what's new in Accudemia. We have a couple new features, as well as some upcoming features that we think are important to touch on, as well as some resolutions to some common issues that people have had, where we're going to address them and kind of work you through it and, yeah, give you those solutions. All right. So today I'll be going over our new feature for generating QR codes, as well as an improved accessibility feature. All right. So first with the shareable links QR code, this can be accessed by going to administration, user management, users. You would then select a tutor. And then once you select that tutor, there's going to be a create link option that will show a QR code. Scanning this QR code will open Accudemia in a URL where the user can sign in and enter their appointment details. This will allow students to scan in quickly and efficiently. In this section, there's also a Zoom meeting link to make a direct appointment, which would be useful. You could have that included wherever you'd like. And the QR code can also be downloaded and printed. So if you had a lead tutor for a center, you could print the QR code for that specific tutor that is going to be handling that specific subject matter. You could also print multiple tutor QR codes and place them near your check-in station. So if you had a tutor that handled math, you could have that labeled as math tutor. And if you had a lead for that, then that would be great. You could separate and have an English tutor and have their own separate QR code where someone could scan it in quickly. And this would also be a quick way for students to bypass and sign into maybe like academic advising and an academic coach. So typically, if you had like a front desk of an academic advising center, someone could just go in, and if there's like a main person for that academic advising, then they could scan in quickly and then just enter in those appointment details. This can also be used for locations. So if you go to administration, campus setup, and locations, you can click on a center and click the direct appointment link. I think this is really cool because you could print these out and place them around the center. So if someone was going in not for an appointment, they could see that and you could label it like, do you need help with this assignment? Do you need academic advising? And that could really help increase turnout in your center, increase people coming in and promote that. And it's also just easily accessible and quick. So if you're in that center and someone comes there often and maybe they haven't made an appointment before, it might encourage them to make that appointment then. All right, and then we have an improved accessibility feature. In the daily viewer, you can now click tab and shift tab to direct from left to right over these appointment details. And this is just for accessibility purposes, and or if you don't have maybe access to a mouse or the mouse isn't working, this is a good alternative. And this will now allow you to navigate the page easier. Also by pressing the space or enter key on the keyboard, that will enter and close those appointment details. I'm now going to pass this on to Nick.
Thanks, Rose. So I'm going to go over some upcoming features. So these haven't been released yet, but these are things that are scheduled in the pipeline. So we have some new things to do with the Accudemia app, some push notifications that will be able to be controlled by our center admins, college admins, and Accudemia. So not just the ones that go out automatically for appointments and things like that, but you'll be able to customize them. We also have SMS templates, just typically similar to like the email templates, but obviously there's constraints for SMS. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about tutor badges. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be first kind of going over the push notifications. So just like any app that you might have installed on your device, we're going to have where you can basically send out a one-way communication to your students through the Accudemia mobile app. This can benefit your center because you're going to be able to provide real-time communications if you needed to push something out to the students. And it can also boost engagement in the center, maybe with the app. Maybe they're not sure about what features are available in the app, so you could even highlight things that they can do that you've kind of worked on and hopefully increase the center's attendance. So, all right, moving on. We're going to go right to the SMS templates. Just keep in mind this is not been fully developed yet. So this picture is just kind of a mock-up of what we had in the design sessions with the developers. It's going to look something similar to this, but basically this is where you can customize like either your SMS or your push notifications. These are going to have configurable templates, just like what we would see in Accudemia currently with the email templates. You're going to be able to customize, those messages. Obviously, for text messaging, you're limited to like 160 characters, and there will be merge fields and things like that that are available, similar to what we already have. One other thing that did come out, I just wanted to let you guys know if you weren't aware of this. We have a low balance notification for AccuCredit, so that is something that is actually available right now, and you can actually access that under the Administration, Advanced, and AccuCredit section. So that is something that you can configure now. You can turn this off for all users on the account, or enable it for all users, and then of course each user can customize that notification for themselves, like when that would go out if you guys use the SMS. So I just wanted to kind of include that because that was a little related. Now, how can these templates be used? So obviously you would be able to create, comment, or update appointment reminders, cancellations, confirmations, no-shows, and rescheduling. And these are the typical ones that were set out by the system, but we had our own format where we just try to include as much information about the appointment on there to let them know. And this would go out to the student or the tutor, and so now you'd be able to customize those. The other new feature that we're talking about is the push notifications. So this would be on the Accudemia app, and it's just kind of like a pop-up on the top of your phone screen that would let people know that there's something to check out in the app. All right, and then not only would you be able to customize the template, but also these delivery methods. So you're going to be able to, say I'm customizing email, SMS, kiosk notifications, or mobile push app. You can see that you could select one or multiple of those. Basically these templates can be customized to either encourage, participation in events, or basically increase the likelihood that they'll show up for like appointments and things like that. So all of these options are going to be something fun to look forward to. All right, next up we have is tutor badges. So tutor badges is something new that we've kind of pulled from another system. And with tutor badges, they're going to be able to, you'll be able to customize these. You can put, as you can see on this screen, like text fields, images, a barcode. The one that we provide is just going to be like their ID number if you needed to scan them for an event, but you can actually put other types of barcodes as well, or QR codes. And there's other fields as well that we can add on there. And these could have things like from their name to like maybe what specialties they work on. And these would be able to be printed and shown to the students. So how can these be used? So just kind of giving a few scenarios and options that you can do. So, if you have tutors that help with the same course, but maybe they have different specialties, maybe this could be something that reflects on the badge, so that when students are thinking about like who would I want to get help from, if they see those on their badge, they'll maybe be able to select the best tutor. Also, if you have peer tutors, so they don't look very different from maybe the students that are already in the center, this is just another way for them to easily identify them. And you can also include their role or job title, and this would probably help with the center's branding, as well as like the students learn you know what these folks do and what they're about. And the other thing is you can actually, or you will be able to, sorry, print and email these out in bulk to your staff. So if this is something where you want them to print it out on their own, maybe you're going to get like little holders for them. You could email them out, print them out, however you wanted to distribute those. And you can also include other things on the badge, like maybe the QR code that you include instead of like the one with their ID number. You could have one that goes out to like a website with academic resources or YouTube videos that help introduce the staff and the centers, um, offerings like whatever that you guys are offering in your services. And this will just help maybe a time-saving manner, the student be able to learn more about the staff and the center. So I think that's all I have for myself. I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Aaron to go over the next section.
Hey everybody, hope you're all having a good day. So today I'm going to be going over some common questions that we've seen in academia and the features that are associated with them. So the first one's going to be the support Dropbox and its terminology, as well as email templates. So some common support Dropbox questions to start off. What is the support Dropbox? The support Dropbox is going to allow students to submit requests, questions, documents like their essays to staff for them to review without needing a live session or an appointment. Students can send these materials at any time, and each submission acts as a trackable ticket that staff can assign, manage, and respond to efficiently. The system also keeps a record of all these communications and any updates, so it's easy to look back on stuff. The support Dropbox, we can edit its terminology too to make it a little clearer to the students. So instead of saying, support Dropbox, we could say requests, submissions, or paper drop-off, and this might make it help feel more approachable for students. And these labels are just going to make it a lot simpler for students to submit their papers. Some other questions would be about the welcome message. So the Dropbox has a welcome message that we can use to clearly explain how the feature can be used, what the students can request, what they can submit, and also maybe how to write up their ticket so it's assigned to the proper channels. The system also includes configurable ticket notifications. So these notifications can be things like a ticket's been assigned to a tutor, or a ticket has had its status changed, or there's been an update to the comments. So managing these templates will help the school to maintain consistent branding as well as clear communication with their students. So now we can take a look at this in Accudemia, what the actual process of creating a ticket looks like. So this is the Accudemia homepage. Everybody knows it. The campus button up here, and then support Dropbox will take you to the support Dropbox. I'm on a student account right now. So all the student would have to do is click create ticket. They could then enter a summary like demonstration ticket or anything else. They might need help with a physics paper, and then they'd be able to add their essay or paper. You can attach any PDFs or documents. Then they can select the center. So this is a physics paper, so it would go to the physics lab. Then they can choose the course for this paper. And after the student enters all this information, you're going to actually be able to sort based on this information. So you can see tickets for the Physics 1101 class and tickets for the Physics Lab Center. And so once I create this ticket, it'll show up as an open ticket, and the tutor who it's assigned to, which would be Toby McGuire, would be able to go in. They'd be able to change the status of the ticket to in progress if they started to work on it. They're able to comment on the ticket. They're able to attach files, images, or even videos. And this is just going to be a very big help for students when it comes to getting feedback asynchronously on their essays. Some common questions that go along with email templates. Managing email notifications. Administrators are able to customize their email templates. This is going to be very helpful. It'll help to with message content. They can change the reply addresses as well as notification settings. This just helps so students receive clear and relevant communications when they're being emailed about any of the various things that Accudemia can send notifications for. Email templates matter. They're very important for maintaining consistent communication and reinforcing an institution's branding across all the interactions that they'll have with a student. And now some Accudemia Q&A questions. So I'm going to pass this back to Rachel.
Thank you, Aaron, Rose, and Nick. We have a couple questions that came in. The first one is, can surveys be based on session modality as well? So Nick or someone wants to elaborate on this. I don't believe we have that ability, but if you are separating your services by modality. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Okay, I was gonna say technically yes, because your services, normally you can split those up. I would say usually we recommend it even like to do your virtual separate from your in-person, kind of thing. You don't have to separate them, but if you want that kind of granularity on your reports, then I would recommend it. So therefore, you could technically do it based on session modality, but if you don't have them separated, then I would say no, because I think the
It's a little trickier.
smallest we can get is by service, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a good idea though. Next question, how can I set up a survey to be sent at the end of a virtual session?
yeah, that's a good one. So I know we have where you can have it go to their like pending surveys. So what that does is if you do that in combination with like the survey reminders, so there's actually a confirmation and two reminders. So you'll see that it says like, do you want to send a confirmation that they got a survey, and then how many days out do you want to send this first reminder and then like the second reminder, and so you could do like maybe 2 days later, 3 days later for those other reminders, but basically that's how they could get that survey after the fact. So you would, instead of having it show to them like during the session, it would actually be something that you have to have sent, after the fact, like with the pending surveys. And the pending surveys is actually in two different places. We have in their personal menu, like when they click their name, there's going to be a pending surveys, and also on the home page. So if you include that when you design the student's homepage, they'll see it in both places, and it's a little more prominent there. And you can also have your survey like come up in a pop-up. So if they happen to log in to maybe like schedule an appointment and they had that as a pending survey, it would actually pop up too when they first log in. So there's a lot of different options that you can do to still kind of get that information, but it would be after the fact, like you wouldn't get it right away, because I think those send out the next morning for those confirmations and reminders. Yeah.
All right. It looks like that is all the questions we have, but I do want to make sure everyone knows about our bits of housekeeping. We also have a survey. This is an academia usability survey specifically. We are one of the biggest pieces of feedback we got on a survey that we had before this was people want to see better usability, but we want to learn more about what that actually means to our individual users and users as a larger population. So if you haven't taken that survey, I have pasted that link in the chat. We really appreciate you taking a few minutes to take that. The more feedback we get, the better. Also, just want to remind everyone we have our upcoming Academic Center Summit, and I have again pasted that link in the chat for if you want to find out more about that and submit for a breakout session potentially. And again, our keynote speaker for that is going to be Jennifer Haley from Claudia. And then our next keynote webinar is going to be on June 4th, and that is Daring to be a Wholehearted Supervisor, and you can sign up for free. So survey, conference, webinar, we've got a lot going on. We really appreciate you all taking the time to be here today, and we hope everyone has a great rest of your week, rest of your term if you're still in it, and we'll see you again next month. Bye, everyone.